First of all, welcome to Paranormal Watchtower. My name is Brandon Kramer. My co-host here is Raymond Wright. We are setting off a new adventure here in the paranormal field. We're going to do a quick introduction. Again, my name is Brandon Kramer. I have been on a few shows and across multiple platforms for social media, mostly known lately for TikTok. Go by Real Ghost Hunter 1. I am a paranormal investigator, educator, and ex-trainer. I used to train people how to start off ghost hunting. I've held tours, done seminars, been to many events, been fortunate enough to meet many famous people in the paranormal field, and hope to do even more. That's pretty much myself. I live in Wisconsin. Any other questions? I'm sure it'll come up later, but I'm going to turn it over to Ray. Let him introduce himself. Welcome in, everybody.
Thank you for that. I'm Ray. Brandon calls me Raymond, apparently.
Just today.
On TikTok, I'm known as Nebraska Paranormal. I've been investigating about 4 years. I stick mostly to buildings and abandoned houses. I've never done a private investigation. I'm really excited about this podcast. I'm glad Brandon agreed to do it with me. That's all I got.
Well, you begged me long enough.
2 years. 2 years. It's going to be some fun editing. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I think just go ahead and do your intro and we can start talking.
All right. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The word paranormal. It rolls off the tongue, laced with intrigue and a hint of fear. But what does it truly mean? Is it simply a catch-all phrase for all the strange and unexplained, or does it hold a deeper significance? Tonight, we embark on a journey to crack open the very meaning of para and normal. We delve into the definition, meaning something beyond the normal, defying scientific explanation. But is that all? Is the paranormal truly outside our realm of understanding, or are we simply lacking the tools to comprehend it? Think about it. Flickering lights in the dead of night, whispers in the darkness, chilling premonitions that send shivers down your spine. Are these mere glitches in the matrix, or do they represent something beyond our ordinary senses, hinting at a hidden dimension? Tonight, we begin our journey into the paranormal here on the Paranormal Watchtower podcast. But remember, this journey isn't just about spooky thrills. It's about questioning, exploring, and pushing the boundaries of our understanding. It's about peering into the unknown, not with fear, but with curiosity and open minds. So are you ready to go beyond the normal? Then buckle up, grab your metaphorical flashlight, and get ready to have your mind, well, maybe not blown, but definitely stretched, challenged, and perhaps even a little tickled by the bizarre and the unexplained. And with that, we begin our descent into the extraordinary. What strange encounters we uncover tonight? Oh, hold on. What strange encounters will we uncover tonight? Stay tuned to find out. Fiend. I need a soundboard so I get some claps. All right, we did the intros and that. So the first segment will be on the history of paranormal investigation devices.
Yes. And now I don't know how much Ray has how much you've researched, but
a little bit.
I actually came up with some stuff that I didn't know and even surprised myself with some of this stuff. So if I haven't come across it, chances are a lot of people haven't come across it. Now, everybody, well, I shouldn't say everybody. Most people know about the tools used today. They know about such things as K2 meters, digital recorders, cameras, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But what they don't realize is what people may have done and what they did do before all these things were invented. Now, ghost hunting, from what I've discovered, doesn't go back all that far. Paranormal investigating, same thing. You can date seances and stuff like that back hundreds of years. Even the Ouija board wasn't invented, but what, 1886 was when the Ouija board was first discovered. It wasn't even put into press until 1890. And that's when it became the Ouija board. One thing I did come across that I thought was very interesting was the word Ouija. Is it Ouija? Is it Ouija? Here's what I found out.
Tell us.
According to the internet, which we all know never lies, depending on where you live is the correct pronunciation. For instance, if you live in the UK, it gives me two examples, UK and US. In the UK, it is Ouija is the correct term for it. So it's Ouija board. So the United States, it's pronounced Ouija by definition. Yeah, so I guess they're both correct.
I like Ouija.
Ouija is funner to say and easier. I think most people would agree. You call it, what do you call it?
Ouija.
Ouija?
Ouija.
Well, by the spelling, it should be like
Ouija.
Oija or Oiji. Oiji. Oiji.
Let's get out the origin.
Want to get out the Oiji board?
Ouija board.
Come on, let's play Oiji.
Glad we're not on TikTok right now. We'd both
right. Oiji. Oh, come on over for some Oiji. Anyway,
did you find something to be considered like the oldest device used? I'm going to guess the dowsing rods.
Surprisingly enough, I didn't dabble too much into dowsing rods. But let's see, what two did I do here? Yeah, since you brought them up, let's see if I have something on them. Yes, I do actually. Take a guess when you think when dowsing rods were invented. Take a wild guess.
I'm going to go with the 1500s.
You're very close, but you got to pick one.
Let's go with the 1400s.
All right. 1556.
That's
1556.
That's that 2% psychic right there.
Yeah. So let me read this little paragraph here that I've found interesting about, because I don't care about dowsing rods. My opinion is, yeah, you know what my opinion is. If not, I'll tell you in a minute. It says dowsing rods. What are dowsing rods? Dowsing rods are rods or sticks traditionally shaped in an L, used to find anything from water, jewels, dead bodies, and to communicate with and find ghosts. The word dowsing means a technique for searching for underground water, minerals, and anything invisible, serving the motion of the pointer. Traditionally a forked stick, which is how it started off, now often paired with bent wires. Changes in direction of a pendulum, also used in the same way, supposedly in response to an unseen influence. Your rods will react to the energy in the environment and the energy you're giving off. So it even says right there, you're giving off, the energy you're giving off. So to me, that's big red flag right there. Um,
And
how
it's
do you use it? It even says how to use a dowsing rod. Yeah, hold one in each hand and take a deep breath. The best way to start is by asking permission. May I start dowsing? I've never heard anyone say that in my entire life.
nope,
May I start dowsing?
did not know that was a thing.
And then asking questions you know the answers to. Get accustomed to how the rods feel and how they move and respond to the questions. Then go find some ghosts.
Oh,
So that's what it says about dowsing rods. That's all I care to talk about dowsing rods.
well,
I'm not a big fan.
hold on now.
Huh?
Hold on. Hold on.
Hold on, he says. Oh, we gotta
Now let me
welcome back.
ask you this. Like, let's say I built something that you could put dowsing rods on. I'm sure there's already something like it out there where your hand's not touching it. It's not affected by any type of movement from a person.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
Then
think
it would probably be different. You know, it'd probably be different. I did see an episode, and I hate to bring up your hero, but I know you don't like him, but Zach Bagans did that same exact experiment. He put it on a tripod.
did he get anything with it? Of course he did. He got possessed.
To be honest, I don't remember. I don't remember, but I know he set it up on some sort of tripod, and whether he got movement or not, you'd have to watch the episode.
We'll see.
But
Would you trust a dowsing rod at that point if it's set up like that?
if it was set up like that, I'd be more likely to give it a chance. You know what I mean? But just like any other tool, it all depends on what else is going on. You know, do they have doors open? You know, is there some sort of vacuum wind through there?
I think I'd have to be there to really believe it to see it with my
Right. Absolutely. Because you could have floor vibration, all sorts of things could come into effect.
own.
And it also depends on who's trying to prove it. You know what I mean? Because, you know, the person's personality and reputation is going to back that up either nothing, not much, or completely.
All right. So what's the next device you got for us?
Okay. So let's see. Next up, we got EMF detectors. Let's see. First, take a guess when you think the first EMF detector was invented.
Around the time of Abraham Lincoln's assassination.
Oh, okay. Now I'm supposed to know when
Like
that was, right?
1863. I don't remember.
Oh man, you are close.
Six-
Surprisingly close, actually.
What was it?
1881.
As
First EMF detector. Now, let's see.
Thomas Edison invented it.
So, those of you who don't know what an EMF detector is, they're most often used to find faults in electrical wiring or power lines. That's what they were first used for. It says here that an EMF radar will find moving electrical charges and magnetic field created by said charges. So,
Pretty simple.
right. But it says here the cool thing is it doesn't pick up the Earth's magnetic field. So that's what sets up the difference between that and what I'll be talking about later as a little surprise info that I found out just today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Actually, I might as well bring it up. Guess what the first EMF actually before, well, I shouldn't say before, but after that, people were using an everyday tool as an EMF detector. It might be a little surprising to you. It was to me.
An everyday tool.
Yeah, not so much every day, but maybe 20 years ago it was every day. 30, 40, 50 years ago. If you were traveling, for sure. That's a big hint.
That don't help me. I would have gone with the radio.
No, that is one of the things on the list, though.
Flashlight? I don't think it's a flashlight.
No, it's actually a compass.
Yeah, I did see that. That was one of the
Yeah,
old things they used was a compass.
yeah. It actually says that the first people they used it just like an EMF detector of today, because this does the same thing. It's like a K2. It detects electromagnetic field, which to me is genius.
Yeah.
It even goes. I found an article where it says they actually use the compass to find haunted locations. And what they did was they would walk around, walk in town or whatever, and they would set on a heading. And anytime it flickered to one direction or one way or another, they would turn and they would go that direction.
I read some stuff on the compass, and like it surprises me that you don't see that being used. Like I've got two compasses sitting in my bedroom. Never thought about
Yeah.
this with me.
Yeah. We're going to definitely have to try that out.
That
Try
makes
that out for sure.
I'd probably trust that better than an EMF detector, honestly. Magnetic
It,
waves aren't supposed, or magnetic fields aren't supposed to move north to south like that.
it almost sounds more fun
It
to
does.
use a compass, you know?
I mean, the only time I've heard about compasses going crazy is like the Bermuda Triangle.
Right. Where it's spinning around. Just,
You imagine that on an investigation, you look down, your compass just like,
that would probably scare the hell out of me.
yeah, what do you do at that point?
Right.
That one would be hard for me to explain away. I'll have to be like, well, I was in a vortex and mirrors, optical illusions.
Yeah. So yeah, we're definitely gonna have to try that out. It sounds fun. It sounds kind of like what's that app that would take you to haunted places or whatever?
Oh,
Do you remember?
start with an R.
Randonautica or Randonautic, something like that.
It always took
We're
me
kind
out
of
to cornfields,
corn. Well, imagine that living where you live, finding a cornfield. Well, that's pretty tough.
right? I hated that app just because of that. It never took me anywhere cool. And cornfields at night are terrifying.
I was gonna try it live on TikTok a few years ago, but every time I went out, I'd lose signal and wouldn't get Wi-Fi, so that put an end to that. Randonautica, that's what it's called.
Yep.
Anyhow, but there's a lot of info on talking boards, like the Ouija that we were just talking about earlier. Again, it's correct either way you say it, Ouija or Ouija. So don't come at me for saying Ouija.
I read the spirit boards were actually separate from Ouija boards.
Spirit boards were what were okay. Spirit boards to me, in my opinion, are simply talking boards that aren't made by the Ouija Corporation.
The Ouija Corporation. I like that.
That's actually what it is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. Um,
I didn't know that.
the Ouija was born in 1886 in Chestertown, Maryland, and named in 1890 in Baltimore, where it was first manufactured.
Why does
Mm-hmm.
that surprise me? That New England coast, man, from the witches to Ouija boards, like it's just full of paranormal up there, apparently.
Yeah. It says here that since Ouija's inception, newspapers even reported on its use as a way to communicate with the dead, predict and to predict catastrophes and solve mysteries, even commit crime. Very interesting.
How's a Ouija board going to commit a crime?
That's a great question. That's a great question.
Do you have the answer?
No, that I don't. I mean, you'd have to use your imagination. I'm sure we'd be able to come up with something.
I mean, I could see somebody using the board as a crime, but
Well, well, you could cheat and just be like, Ouija, what are the lucky numbers? What are the lottery numbers this week?
oh, I mean, if you play with the Ouija board and haven't tried to get the lottery numbers, I don't know what you're doing.
Right. Now, this is what another thing about the Ouija board that I found interesting. It says the popular belief that the word Ouija or Ouija comes from the French or German words for yes, but that is a misconception. In fact, the name was given from a word that was spelled out on the board when a medium Helen Peters Nosworthy Helen Piers Nosworthy, asked the board to name itself.
Oh, so it gave itself that name?
It gave itself that name. And then when asked what the word meant, it responded with good luck.
Okay.
So,
So are we summoning demons every time we say the word?
hey, you never know. You never know. I mean, it's possible.
I mean,
But to me, that whole good luck is basically a warning, like
that's how I
like
take it.
yeah, I don't take it as an actual, blessing. Good luck. No, it's like, yeah, good luck now, sucker. You know,
Man, I hope it's the people in the UK that are pronouncing it right, not us then. If that's the case.
right?
Like I try not
Uh,
to summon too many demons to my place.
you try not to.
Try not to. I didn't know Ouija would summon demons, so I've been
Well,
tossing that word around for years.
I think it only summons them if you want it to, but that's just me.
I'll take that then. I've still never used one. My wife
Well,
owns
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Katie owns one here. She has one here at the house. I've never
I have. I have
you
over a
have,
dozen.
you have a couple.
Yeah, I got a couple. I got a couple.
I don't even know if she's ever used it. I should ask her sometime.
I've only used it a handful of times, and I have a bunch of them. Um, and to be honest with you, I've never really had anything impressive come through it. The last time I actually used the Ouija board was back at Farrar when you were there.
Yep. That was the
When we were.
first time I've ever actually seen people use a Ouija board
Oh, really?
in person.
Yeah. And of course, we all know what happened there. Not a lot of nothing, you know.
Nada, nada, nada.
Nada, nada, nada.
I was very disappointed in the seance and in the Ouija board, I will say.
Yeah, well, I really enjoyed the seance, but it was awfully short. It seemed awfully short. But now we're talking about stuff that just we personally experienced and nobody listening knows what we're talking about. But we'll talk about that more in a future episode, I'm sure.
I'll just cut it out.
Okay. So would you be interested in the Ouija timeline? What I have here is it says back in 1890, Elijah Bond and Charles Kenner began manufacturing the Ouija boards in Baltimore after reportedly holding a seance with Helen Peters, who I mentioned earlier. A year later, William Flood buys the rights to the game and records a patent. So they didn't have a patent on it for the first year, which is understandable, right?
Yep. I never knew it was patented.
The Folds. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say Fluids? Floods? Folds brother, Isaac. Back so 10 years after that, in 1901, he has his license revoked by get revoked by Ouija Novelty, which is the name of the company.
Oh,
Ouija Novelty. He tries to keep making the game, but it's blocked by a judge. Then 14 years later, Pearl Curran claims to have made contact with 17th century author, whom she names Patience Worth. She begins publishing and writing work about it. Then 5 years later, all the way up to 1920, after 19-year court battle, courts declare only William can manufacture the boards. Isaac is ordered to pay court costs. So there's a whole big battle, drama, controversy with who's in control of the board. Up until recently, if my memory suits me correctly, I believe it is still Warner Brothers who owns the rights right now.
I have no idea.
No.
I bet it made some good money back in them days. So,
Well, I mean, they made them and they made so many different styles. They made so many. They're still making styles today of different Ouija boards. So they're still banking on it. But funny. I've gone to so many like St. Vincent de Paul's and never and what's the other one? Uh Goodwill, you know. I've never seen a Ouija board at either one of them.
I don't think
Never.
either. I've never
Never.
been to the first one you said, but I've been to Goodwill. There ain't nothing there.
No. I've never I've always looked because they got tons of board games. But I mean they have everything from they even changed the name in 2010. I just mentioned the other night. Uh they made a Ouija board with pot leaves all over it.
Nice.
Ouija board,
You need that one.
right?
You got
And
that
they
one that talks to Jesus or something.
I do. I have the what is it called? The Holy Spirit board,
Spirit board.
which is said to only communicate with our Lord Jesus Christ.
Have you tried it yet?
I have not tried it. I have not tried it. And I mean, because yeah, it would suck if you got nothing, but how scary would it be if you did get something?
Right? Like,
That would be more terrifying.
like, oh
You know?
no, you better just leave that one in the box.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Kind of what I'm thinking. You know, the original Ouija boards had four swastikas on it.
What?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Here, let me see if I can put it up here. Oh, nope, not with the green screen. I can't. But anyways, you
Well,
can
yes,
Google it.
in 1800s, the swastika didn't mean the same.
Was the no? It did not mean it was didn't mean anything. It didn't have anything to do with Nazis or anything like that.
I forget what the actual swastika stands for, but I know it's not Nazis. I'll remember what it meant.
Yeah, there's a lot of drama with that whole Ouija thing. Everybody claims to be the original inventor,
Right?
but nobody is actually given the title, which is a little odd, but hey. They used to call them good night boards too. The good night board.
Just because good night's on there or goodbyes.
I guess. I
Oh,
guess. And they some made some out of iron.
ladies and
Uh
gentlemen, do not Ouija board before you go to bed.
they made, you know how they make them round now?
They make them round.
Yeah, they make kind of roundish ones. And they actually made it out of what looks like cast iron. They made some out of cast iron back in the day.
The only ones I've ever seen are just the plain old board looking thing with the plastic planchette.
Yeah, that's mostly what they are. They're just cardboard nowadays. The
Katie's is probably from the 80s, so hers might be actual cardboard, like good cardboard. I don't know. I should open it sometime and look at it.
So Elijah Bond is the most credited. As a matter of fact, I believe it's Elijah Bond that when he passed away, he has a giant Ouija board on his tombstone.
I think I've seen a picture of that.
Yeah. I can't remember what it says. I think it's on the back of his headstone. And then in the front it says who he is and you know the normal dates and whatnot.
It's
But I I know I was pretty damn shocked when they came out with the pink Ouija board for kids.
what?
You've never seen the pink Ouija board? Oh yeah, they made it. 2008, Warner Brothers or Parker Brothers came out with it.
For kids.
Yep, it came out in let's see, 2008 in Hasbro. Oh, Parker Brothers Hasbro, Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Up there on the New England coast again. What y'all doing up in New England?
Yeah, it's pink. Even the planchette is it's almost heart shaped with pink plastic. That's pretty interesting.
What else you got for us?
Oh, I got all sorts of stuff. Let's see.
I got a dog that's whining outside my door.
Oh no. Um, well, we can talk about the current ghost hunting equipment and a little bit of the history on that, if that suits you, if that tickles your fancy.
Do you know who Gary Galka is?
Yeah, he's actually the creator of the spirit box.
And
I imagine several other things. I'm guessing.
the RIM pod
Oh, sure.
and the Mel
Oh,
meter.
yeah, the Mel meter. I know about the Mel meter. I saw the episode. He made it for his daughter Melanie.
Yeah, I was going to ask you,
He,
you know, why he got into making this stuff.
yeah, he lost his daughter. I believe it was in a car accident, wasn't it? He
2000,
lost his daughter. Was she? Go ahead, tell me. What
2004.
year?
Melissa was her name.
Oh, four. Because I know if I my memory is correct, the Mel meter is it's like it's the date of her birth and the date of her death. Because so it's like when was does it say when she was born? Because that'll tell us that because it's something oh 04 is the model number
80,
of the Mel meter. 8604?
87.
8704. Okay. And that's the actual model number of the Mel meter. And if you, those of you who are listening who haven't seen this episode, it's probably one of my favorite episodes of Ghost Adventures, where they go and they celebrate her on her birthday. They bring her a birthday cake, and some of the messages that come through while they're doing it are pretty amazing, actually.
They said they caught it on the spirit box. Hi, Daddy, I love you.
That's right. Yes. Yes.
He's claiming he's made over 30 different devices. That's crazy.
Yeah, sounds about right. You know, well, if you think of all the new equipment popping out almost daily,
I'd like,
every week I hear about something new.
I'd like to get my hands on the new SB7, but it's still like almost $300.
SB7,
Yeah,
$300.
the new
Oh,
SB.
the new one. What's the new one do? Is that with the ANC?
I don't think so. I'd have to pull it up. Um, it it was like 279, I think, when I looked.
Well, I got. Well, I don't.
I don't think
I
it has
shouldn't say.
ANC on it though.
I'm trying to think. I think the SB7, if I remember correctly, came out in 2009. I'm pretty sure on that. In 2009, the SB7 came out, and then it wasn't until 2013 when they upgraded it to the PSB 11, which is my personal favorite spirit box. Now, keep in mind, folks, there were a lot of boxes before the PSB 7 and the PSB 11. Most of them were, there was what was it, a George box or a Tom box or something like that, and then you had Radio Shack hack boxes. You know what's that?
Those were some of the best. Like those are expensive too to get nowadays.
And those of you who don't know the difference, what they did was they had the SB7, and that was like to paranormal investigators, that was a wow factor for everybody when that came out. That changed the game. That gave the spirits a voice that they never had before. Spirit boxes were the in thing. They were the hottest thing out there. So they sold so many of them. And then just 4 years later, they decided, because the only complaint they were getting was that they were quiet and it was hard to hear it. So they had a very slow scan rate to the SB7. So the SB11 they came out with was picture. It's about, I would call it probably 4 times the size, but it's still a handheld device. But it's basically two SB7s put together to plus an amplifier, and it has a faster rate of scanning on it as well. so it scans faster. It's got 2 channels,
You can disconnect
and
it.
it's louder. I
Way,
mean, what's that?
way louder.
Yeah, way louder.
And I like the fact you can turn off the antennas on it.
Yes. Um, if you, those of you who are listening who might be like, hey, what is a spirit box? A spirit box, if you, in layman's terms, is basically a fast scanning radio that automatically shuffles through the radio frequencies, kind of like almost like a machine gun fire, and it that is said that spirits can speak through. I believe full-heartedly that that is what's happening, but there's a lot of skeptics out there saying it's just radio. So try it out for yourself and find out.
I mean, it is
Big
just,
fan of the SB11.
but when you're going at 300 milliseconds, 150 milliseconds, like that's not long enough to get a word out. Maybe one word
Right.
out of sentence. And I've heard some crazy sentences on the spirit boxes. Like if it's telling me 5 or 6 words all in a row that all make sense in the same voice, like that shouldn't happen.
Yeah, you know it's something talking to you. I mean, there's no guarantee as to who, but something is talking to us.
I think for me, the biggest difference between like using that and using the app is like the voice changes on the spirit box. Like if it's a male, it's a male. If it's a female, it's a female. Whereas you're using Ghost Tube, Necrophonic, it's always the same voice.
It's always it's the same 6 voices that are seem robotic
Yep.
almost. So I agree with that. Um, let's see. Here's an interesting little something that I'd like to read real quick.
Go for it.
I think you'll find this interesting, Ray. It's about science and spirits. Okay, because there's a big controversy between paranormal and science, and everybody seems to think that science was out there to prove paranormal wrong. But what most people don't realize is a lot of scientists out there are using science to prove that spirits exist,
That's cool.
which is super. And it says here, for the modern ghost hunter, it may seem like science is the antithesis to spirits, and many people believe that science is exclusively used to discredit theories of the paranormal. However, for nearly a century, the rise of science was accompanied by a widespread belief in spiritualism. Many scientists actually sought out to create technologies that would prove the existence of ghosts and even allow for better communication. So I thought that was real interesting.
I mean, science is just the pursuit of truth, the pursuit of knowledge. I don't get the people that are like, oh, science disproves the paranormal, because you can't disprove paranormal. You can disprove some devices.
Oh, sure.
Like actually to try to say there are no spirits is just asinine in my opinion. Like there's no way to possibly know. Sure, we can't,
And
but you can't disprove them.
a lot of the stuff used today is just like things, it's like an improved version of what they used to use back in the day for all sorts of things. It's like an improvement, and they put a little twist on it to make it for hunting ghosts, like the Tesla coil, I mean, people use it today. I have a Tesla gun that I can shoot off into the air, said to build the electricity in the room, which in turn helps feed spirits strength and give them an opportunity to speak or to manifest or whatever they choose to do.
I've seen EMF motors, I guess you'd call them. I'm not sure what you'd call them.
Oh, the you're talking about EM pumps.
There we go. EMF pumps, which just look like little race car motors inside a box.
Well, technically, I think they are just called EM pumps because it's just an electromagnetic pump. If you put the F on there, it makes it a field, which puts a limitation on it. I think it just puts it in the atmosphere, but I could be wrong.
I don't want to break out my associate's degree on you. Any
Associate's
type of
degree.
electromagnetic energy.
Is that an associate's degree in bullshit or
That's an associate's degree in electronics technology.
um I think people should today who are doing paranormal investigations might want to try to go back to the old ways just to try it. Just
Especially
to try it.
that compass.
Um
That's cool.
the old no equipment, old wraps and bells way of doing things. You've got, this, you sit in a quiet room and you can ask yes and no questions. You know, you just ask yes and no questions, and then you ask for a tap, once for yes, twice for no. And that's basically what they call wraps and bells. So it's it's actually scarier than anything today. You hear noises in the room you're in or the building you're in. It can be terrifying to somebody who's never done it or only, a few times. That can be
Nothing scares
scary.
me more than footsteps,
Oh,
especially
oh.
when they're walking at you and there's nothing. I hate that. That should be illegal, ghosts.
Right, right.
That probably bothers me more than disembodied voices. Like, oh, I can't stand that.
Boy, those disembodied voices are something, though, aren't they?
Oh, they're amazing. The first time I ever heard one just blew my mind. Like my mind was trying to wrap itself around it, and there's no possible explanation. Out in the middle of nowhere, nobody around me, and heard a voice, a woman's voice. It's just,
Didn't we hear a baby cry at Farrar?
yeah, we all went different ways looking for it.
Yeah, that's weird how we all heard it come from a different direction.
Yo,
That's part of what made me believe it was definitely that.
yeah, it definitely sounded below us. I think we all took off to the floors below us, but you guys went one way and a couple of us went the other way. And I think we heard it when we were going down the stairs on our side. Sound like
Hmm.
a little kid playing, like laughing, crying, some high pitched noise. But you could tell it was definitely a child.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Yep.
I thought it was pretty active. I was very happy with how that turned out. That whole weekend was pretty cool.
It was fun. I would definitely go back to Ferraris. I've told everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. I probably shouldn't mention, but I'm still trying to get that special guest to show up.
That would be awesome.
Oh, let's see. Um, hmm. We were talking about cameras being used in the old days, back in the early 19th century. As soon as they made it a point to note that as soon as the camera was invented, people started using it to try to find ghosts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just amazing. Like that's
What
what they
year?
go to.
What year is that photograph of the lady on the staircase?
Oh, the
That
she's
had to be.
actually is that the are you talking about what is it, the Phillips staircase ghost? Or no, that's you're talking about the single lady coming
Yeah,
coming right at you down the stairs.
she's kind of off going off to the side. She's got like both her hands on the railing. She's very blurry. I don't remember if they called it like the brown lady. It's a super famous picture. You can see
I'm
through it.
I'm probably very familiar with it, but I have no idea what year it was taken offhand.
It's old. I don't know what year. I should have looked it up, but it's old. And then the guy sitting in the back of the car at his own funeral. I'm sure everybody's seen that one.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah. Um, it says that it pretty much took over the whole paranormal field when the camera came out too. It was like the spirit box for us, you know. The
I,
camera was a game changer.
I could see that. Like the video camera probably changed a lot for like the Warrens
Hmm.
when you go from still photos to video.
I still want to go to that Warren's Museum. Bad. Oh, still want to go. I know it's not open anymore, but
I thought her somebody opened it again or some nephew or
Oh, who knows? It's that's that's another thing I have to look into. I think I know some people that I can reach out to find out.
find out for me. I'd really
Yeah,
like
I'll
Baggins.
do that. I'll do that.
I wish. Does Zach Baggins ever take his museum on tour?
Not that I know of. No.
I want to go Vegas.
Oh man, if you haven't been there, dude, Zach Bagans Museum was probably one of the most impressive things I've probably ever seen. Yeah, it was
Sure, it
it
would
was
be.
pretty cool.
I've read his what he's got in there, and that just seems like an amazing time if you're into that
Uh,
kind of stuff.
oh, just uh Jack Kevorkian's van alone is like just mind blowing,
And that's huge history from us that were alive in the '90s. Like
right?
He was always in the news. They didn't they put him in prison for a while.
They did.
I was thinking so. He didn't care. He just kept doing it.
They did.
Now it's legal in a lot of states.
Um, and going back to other devices that people are using, they're saying that people were just using a regular radio, um, to they would put it on a static station for the white noise and just talk.
Have
They
you
wouldn't even scan.
have you tried it?
I have at that I have tried. Yeah.
Did anything?
Didn't not to mention nothing for sure. Nothing spectacular like I've been getting, you know, with the spirit box. Of course, you got to remember I've had the spirit box since 2014, late 2014. And so I got it like about a year after it came out. The
You
or the
haven't.
SB11. The SB11, I'm saying. The SB11. Once I got that, I had never turned back. I've never used another spirit box other than that.
I
That
like
is,
between the 7 and the 11.
yeah. See,
You have a compass at home?
I do not have a compass, but I'm going to get one. I promise you that.
Ina, tomorrow is Valentine's Day. Uh, why don't you go ahead and hook up Brandon with a compass so he can go
Hey,
live and show us
don't listen to him. You know what I really want for Valentine's Day.
a compass. It's all in the packaging, though, and how you get the compass.
You got that right. It's all in the packaging.
All in the packaging.
That's funny.
I know how.
uh, but all this talk about paranormal equipment, I want people to think about the most important one, the most important piece of equipment for paranormal investigating is yourself.
I already knew the answer, and he didn't tell me.
Yourself. Yes. Yes. Trust your gut, I always say. You can't beat the chills that you get, the feeling of being watched, your ears for listening for disembodied voices,
My
et cetera, et cetera.
like my ears will start ringing, and it gets so loud I can't hear anything else, and that makes me more nervous than the whole other experience.
Let me ask you this. You ever walk into a room and just know they're there? Like you just know. There's no question.
That
There's no,
film
you know
changes,
it.
the atmosphere changes.
Oh, you feel the little tingles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can sometimes drive by a place and just be like, "Oh yeah, I'm not going in there." Not
Well,
without.
I usually get the opposite. I'll drive past an old historical school or something and be like, ooh, ooh.
If I had equipment, I'd go in just cause. But I ain't trying to tempt stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen too many movies, y'all. That's why I don't watch them anymore.
So the only downside to that is to counting on your body to do it is you can't prove it to anyone. There's no way to record what you feel,
Yep.
so that's basically just um self benefit, you know.
But
But
if you're a skeptic, go with somebody that's done it a lot and just check it out. Like you'll feel it too. You'll explain it away as something else, but you'll still feel it.
I used to love one of the thrills for the first 5-6 years of investigating. One of the thrills was always walking through like a cold spot or getting that what do you call it? The spider web feeling, like you're walking through a spider web. Uh, that was one of the highlights for an old creepy night for me.
Sorry, my daughter bursted into my door.
Oh, that happens.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting her tonight. It's nice. I want to go visit her here in a little bit.
Yes.
We almost went the whole hour with just that.
That's crazy. See, I told you. I told you. Could you
Oh,
imagine if we talked about that other subject you wanted to talk about?
what?
It'd be a 4 hour process.
I don't think so because I think the paranormal cryptid or the cryptid of the week, 5 seconds.
No, yeah, not that one. The one that I said we shouldn't do
Oh,
tonight.
yeah, yeah. It would have go. We'd go over.
Yeah, for sure. But you wanted to talk. Let's go move on to the next thing. Keep people interested.
The next subject is the cryptid of the week, and since this is the first episode, why not go with the most famous cryptid, Bigfoot, Sasquatch?
Oh, of course. Of course. Why
Like,
not?
why not? And the
Why
earliest
not?
I can find
Go with the one cryptid
Sasquatch.
that's the hardest for me to believe in.
Oh, I, I'm with you there. The earliest known discovery is 1811. Like I thought it would be older than that. Obviously, there's been stories that are older than that, but the first actual documented discovery was
18
1811 with a set of Sasquatch footprints.
footprints found in 1811.
Yeah,
That's how he got his name Bigfoot, was from the prints.
exactly. The
I probably
Yeti,
didn't have to say that. It's pretty self-explanatory.
now me for something that big to just be roaming around, I can't buy it. I've heard the theory that it might be interdimensional. I can buy that a little more than I can buy it's some long lost animal that we just because whatever my wife saw was in the cornfields of Nebraska. There ain't nowhere for a Bigfoot to hide here. So what
No,
she saw, I have no idea, but she said it was massive.
it's pretty flat out there, isn't it?
Yes, like you've seen it. You should
I
see it
saw a
when
little
the
part of
corn.
it.
You should see it when the corn's cut down. It's the flattest thing you'll ever see in your life, minus Illinois. So anyway, Bigfoot is the cryptid of the week. I don't really get into Bigfoot much. Most of the evidence we have is blurry ass videos and casted footprints.
It's the hide and seek champion of the world.
Right? Like I can see how he's hiding like around Oregon, but
Yeah.
he's spotted everywhere. Oklahoma's got a lot of spottings. Nebraska actually has quite a few. I just can't buy that. I'm sorry.
Well, has anybody ever found like Bigfoot poop?
I mean, there's a guy that claimed he did. Whether he
Is
did, I don't.
you would think it would be everywhere, you know?
The the Nepal government actually issued Yeti hunting licenses in the 50s. Of course, not a single successful capture was recorded.
Yeah, well, you got to take that with a grain of salt because there's a country, I don't know, somewhere overseas where you can get a unicorn hunting license.
I want a unicorn.
You want a unicorn?
So
So, you know.
that was the cryptid of the week. Good old Big.
Hey, cryptid of the week, Bigfoot.
Like, I don't ever want to meet him unless he's got jerky. I mean, I'm always a fool for jerky.
Better be tender too.
Yeah. Slab jerky is my favorite. Y'all, if you want to send me some slab jerky,
Slab jerky?
Yep.
Well, I would ask what that's like, but we'll move on.
we'll move on. All right. Our last subject is supernatural crime of the week. This goes back to the 1500s in Europe. A man named Peter Stump in Germany apparently was a werewolf and confessed under torture to 13 murders. No, 16 murders. 13 were children, including his own son.
That's messed up.
Yeah. And his torture, like The way they executed him was peeled some of his flesh off, broke some
Oh,
bones,
oh,
and then finally decapitated him and burned him. Him, his
well,
daughter, and his mistress.
well. Confession time. I did research it as well,
Yeah,
and some
interesting.
of his methods were just sinister, to say the least. The things that he did to his victims. Did should we tell him about the pregnant ladies that he took out, that he killed?
He
What he
enjoyed.
did with what he did with the babies? That was just sick.
Yeah, I I don't know. Like obviously, more than likely a serial killer.
Oh, definitely.
They actually
Definitely.
tried him as a werewolf, and the reason
Yeah,
they did that was because he was missing a hand, and apparently somebody had chopped off the hand of a werewolf, and since the injuries were identical, that's what got him in trouble.
he's the same guy who was given that werewolf belt
Yep,
by the devil when he was 12.
yep.
Yeah.
And they've
Yeah.
searched for the
So
belt and have not found it, thankfully.
not found it. He claimed that whenever he put this devilish belt on, that he would turn into a werewolf and then take it off and he'd go back to human. But I think I read where the police, when they finally captured him, they were chasing a wolf through the woods. There's multiple witnesses, multiple officers that say they were chasing a wolf through the woods, and they cornered him. They cornered the wolf somehow in a fenced off area or something. And then when they came right up to it, there was no wolf, but that guy was there.
Yeah, I mean, that's how a werewolf gets caught.
Yeah, this is a pretty freaky story. And a matter of fact, when I did look it up, it gave me a warning. Like I had to say that I was above 18 just to be able to read the article
Wow.
because of the violence of his tactics during his spree, we'll call it.
Yeah. He was a farmer too, wealthy farmer, which
Yeah, well respected by the whole town, actually.
until he became a werewolf.
Yeah, that's enough to ruin your reputation for sure.
Like I want to know where the magic belt is.
I would love to have that. I would try it. Would you try it? Would you
Hell,
try the belt?
I mean, I don't want to go out like that guy went out.
No, but I mean, hey, Katie, tie me up with a chain
I might
and
try.
let me put this belt on just for one time and record it.
I might try that,
You know,
but that's
yeah,
I couldn't believe that story after I read it.
that
How
was pretty
much to
impressive.
believe too, because if you're under torture, you're going to confess to a lot of things.
Right,
Like
right.
maybe he only killed a few people.
I'm pretty sure if he admitted to 16, there was probably more.
There might have been more,
Yeah, there was probably more.
but that is our supernatural crime of the week, Mr. Peter Stump.
Peter,
Peter Pumpkin Eater. Oh, right now.
Peter, human eater,
Human Eater. Ate the brain
human
of
eater.
his own son, it says.
He ate the hearts too. He ate the hearts of the unborn babies.
Guys,
That's just sick.
don't be doing that.
Just sick individual. Yeah, don't do that, guys. That's rude.
That's wrong.
That's impolite.
Well, I guess that wraps up really the first show. Um, I really hope
This wraps up the Paranormal Watchtower, season 1, episode 1.
season 1, episode 1. I had fun.
I had a blast. This was great. I look forward to the next one. I don't know what the topic is going to be just yet, but we'll probably dance around a little bit like we did with this one. So anybody who's listening, make sure you let us know how you liked it. We're
When
always open to suggestions, aren't we, Ray?
I'm always open to suggestions, unless they're bad. When when do you think you're gonna try to do like a name a movie and everybody watch it and then you talk about it?
I don't know. I think we'll talk afterwards. We'll surprise them, I think.
Surprise. Do you guys like surprise?
Yeah. Everybody likes surprises. Maybe we'll do a little quick release on either YouTube or TikTok and give people a hint as far
Maybe,
as what the next podcast is going to be.
maybe both.
Maybe
I'm sure we'll eventually be live again during the week. One of us, anyway.
both.
Somebody might jump in the box with us. What about you guys in the chat? You guys like what you heard tonight? Either we put everybody to sleep or they all forgot how to spell in here. 907.
I think it's it's different now. We're making paranormal fun again.
I hope so. Yes, I'm researching some of it. And we can actually say some things since we're not on TikTok and don't have to worry about getting banned.
Right? Absolutely. I love it.
I was
Love
hesitant
it.
to talk about the criminal guy. I'm like, oh man, I don't want to get banned.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking the same thing as I was saying it. I was just like, never mind. I can say whatever I want.
Say that.
Yeah.
Fuki says did fantastic. JC says, yes, I'm researching it. Was looking that weirdo up, right? Peter.
Yeah.
Don't. Wait, no, that's LinkedIn. That's, don't look
He goes by 4 different names actually, or something like that. Different
reading-
spellings and stuff.
They called him Stump because of his hand being cut off. They're not sure of his actual last name.
Well, that's creepy as hell.
They don't say how he got his hand cut off. I'm guessing being a farmer, 1500s, something happened. He's called the Werewolf of Bedburg. Yeah, he was bizarre. The whole case is bizarre. That's why I picked that one for our first episode. I didn't figure
Werewolves of Bedburg. We could make that a song. We can make that our podcast theme song.
Definitely can. I was working on something earlier, doing with my machine, working on a beat for the theme song.
Working on a beat.
Yeah, nothing was scary. It was ended up gangsta.
It all ended up being a little too wiggida wiggida.
Yeah, I couldn't use
Wiggida wiggida whack.
I'm really mad at the guy that took the piano thing for, was it Friday the 13th?
Oh.
I mean, come on. Leave some for the rest of us, dude.
Right?
No,
Let some of us have some fun.
Nothing sounds scary outside of Jaws and that dang piano. The brown lady, yeah, that's that picture. 1835. That's probably it. It's old, I know. She's on like a big old grand staircase coming down sideways.
Right. So, still recording? Yep, you're still recording.
Should I stop? Thank you.